Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the KeithAndrewNetWork. This is episode 473. I have Ed and Mike Mckeever on the show. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having us.
Now, the honor's all mine. Hey, you're supporting a good cause and making a new friend out of it, so it's a win-win.
Yes, sir, and we definitely enjoy that. So thank you for having us on, Keith Andrew. Hi, everybody at home. My son, Michael.
What's up?
With that being said, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's to prove to them you can break the labels. With that being said, I'm going to take this little time to introduce my new project. I'm in the works of making merchandise. And actually, I wanted to give this to you, Michael, because to make a long story short, for my birthday, I wanted to make merchandise for myself. And it didn't say kids on it when I got it. So unfortunately, when I got it, it says kids youth. And I'm like, well, I guess I can fit into it, but I'd be a little too big for it. But, I would like to give this to you, if you would like it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
And there's more items on the way, but for right now, I'm looking for a guy to work with on the distribution. But if you know anyone, I would love to partner up with you. But with that being said, a normal conversation, half hour, 37 minutes. You can ask me anything you want, gloves off. And starting off, Ed, I saw that you were from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I can't even talk. I saw that you were from Atlantic City, New Jersey. And with that being said, have you ever gone to the casino?
Well, I think being here, I've worked in an industry my whole life where we service the casinos. So I think if you're a local, you try not to go into the casinos. I'm not saying the casinos are a bad thing. I just know that I'm a person of excess. And if I was somebody who went to the casinos regularly, I'd probably gamble my life away. I'd be pulling the one-armed bandits. I'd be doing the whole card thing. I'd get the weird hat, the leather jacket, the whole deal. And you'd find me there with the open shirt all the time and all the gold necklaces. I'd be that guy. So I'm better off just to kind of enjoy the nice bright lights and make a living from the place than to be the actual customer.
One thing I say to Mike is learn how to count cards. I'm just kidding. But it's always good when you have math. So I try to learn how to count cards. I kind of lost interest.
I gotcha. I don't even know. I think it's legal. I don't know. I never worked the actual game areas, so I'm not familiar with it. So I think you can count cards. Don't hold me to it. I'm not a legal professional in that. But I'm horrible at math. Michael, on the other hand, is very good at math. So I may have to teach him when he turns 21. We'll have a lot more money to make films.
Hey, you hook me up, I help you.
There you go.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you, I saw that you were a film producer. What were some of your favorite films that you ever produced? And have you ever worked with people with disabilities, or would you be willing to work with people with disabilities?
Sure. I think the favorite films that I produced, I recently produced a film called 100 Acres of Hell, which will be out pretty soon. We'll have information on that. And I'm currently producing a picture called Mat Rats, and that's going to be like a kid's wrestling film. It's going to be pretty cool, and I think this is going to be my favorite, and mostly because I kind of wrote it with my son in mind. He's an athlete, and he's going to be one of the people that's in the film. He has small bit parts in some of my other projects, and then this is going to be kind of a thing. It's going to be great to work with him. And as far as working with people with disabilities, I don't know that I have or haven't. I've worked with people that were great in the community, and I'm all for working with anybody in the community. As an independent film producer, I think everybody has a talent, and everybody can lend something to a production. So anybody that's interested in working with us, feel free to look me up online, Armageddon Ed. We're happy to work with everybody. Everybody has a unique talent, and anybody with a unique talent is welcome to work with us.
No, absolutely. And if it's a possibility, not to put you on the spot, maybe we can work something out.
Absolutely. I've noticed you're real great with interviewing and graphics. And you could be my guest. Come on down while we're filming the series in Atlantic City. If you want to do interviews with our cast and crew, maybe some behind-the-scenes documentary footage, we'd love to have you. We'll definitely talk offline and see what we can put together.
No, absolutely. Actually, I do have an idea in mind if you want to talk about it afterwards.
Okay, great. We can talk about it anytime you like. Sounds great.
Next question I was going to ask you is I saw on your Facebook that you were friends with a couple Hall of Famers.
Hall of Fame. Oh, yes. My buddy Gene Snitsky is in a few different sports and wrestling Hall of Fames. He's actually the star of our production, 100 Acres of Hell. He is phenomenal in it, by the way, too. I just want to tell everybody, once the movie comes out, 100 Acres of Hell, you are going to want to see Gene Snitsky in it because he's tremendous. His physical presence, his strength, his speed, his acting ability is just unbelievable. I'm telling you, it's really going to be amazing because I think people have preconceived notions about wrestlers, thinking that they're one-trick ponies. They're either an athlete or an actor. Gene perfectly melds it all. And some of the other individuals that worked on the project are Samu Anawahi, Lance Anawahi, who's his son, and Afa Anawahi Jr. of the famous Samoan Dynasty Anawahi family. They are phenomenal. Talk about people that are athletes and great actors and bring it every single take. Those guys are tremendous. I can't say enough about them. The acting world is doing a disservice by not putting those guys in every action film there is.
No, absolutely, and that's all thanks to one man, and that's Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan opened the door for older wrestlers to be in movies.
Oh, I think so. I love the Hulkster, and if you want to talk about wrestling movies too, one of my favorite movies of all time, They Live with Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper's performance in that with John Carpenter, that fight scene alone is just absolutely tremendous. And when 100 Acres of Hell comes out, you're going to see the fight scenes that we have in that at the end because we have those guys that have that unique physicality is really going to be amazing because these guys can go for broke. They can beat each other like nothing you've ever seen in a good way.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not saying that violence is a good thing, but if you're going to have a fight scene in a movie or a TV show, it better be accurate, it better be real, and it better look like it hurts.
No, absolutely. And the next thing I was going to ask you, I actually, if Mike, you're interested, I have interviewed a couple of wrestlers you may like. I have interviewed Raven. He's a nice guy. I kind of bugged him a little bit, but yeah, I rub people the wrong way. Just my mannerisms. But hey, that's something that people love about me. But yeah, I'm not perfect, so you're never gonna meet a perfect person in the world.
That's right.
If they say they're perfect, they're full of BS.
That's right. Absolutely.
I interviewed Raven. He's a great guy. I interviewed Just Incredible.
Oh, nice.
Let's see. Trying to think off the top of my head without hurting myself. Let's see. Raven, Just Incredible. Lenny Plavo. He's a great guy.
Oh, did you say Lanny Poffo? Leaping Lanny?
Oh, you know him?
Awesome. I don't know him personally, but I love his stuff. And he would come out and he would throw the things in the audience and he'd pull out that thing and read it to the audience. He did his poems and limericks. That guy's hilarious.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, I would love to have him back on the show. And, I did a couple of demo interviews with, who was it? Sonny Ono. I had Ernest the Cat Miller on the show.
Okay, great.
You name them, I got them. There's still a lot of people I would love to have on. And if you can help me out with Steen Snitsky, I would love to have them. Actually, before I contacted you today, I was actually talking to Al Snow. We're going to plan on doing something in probably April or something.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Let me know. I'll definitely tune in for that. That sounds awesome.
But definitely, guys, should check out my archives.
Great. And what I would also do is I'm going to get in touch with Gene for you tonight. And I'll do an introduction between you two gentlemen so you can reach out to him. When he's available, he loves to do interviews, and he's a great guy. And he's got all the mannerisms and the, brother. I mean, nobody can cut a promo like Gene. I mean, it's not my fault. I mean, the guy is great. So I'm going to put you in touch with him, and you guys will have a great conversation.
No,
I can't guarantee, but I would say most likely. Gene's a great guy. I don't see why he wouldn't.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, what were some of your favorite stars that you worked with? I know you were talking about wrestling, But I also saw that Mike also took a picture with Kevin Smith. How did you guys come across?
We actually we have a lot of common friends with Mr. Smith. He owns the Secret Stash up in Red Bank, New Jersey, and one of the actors in our film, 100 Acres of Hell, is Ernie O'Donnell, and Ernie O'Donnell played Rick Derris in the Clerk series, and they were very good friends growing up. So that's how we were fortunate enough to meet people in that universe, the Kevin Smith people and the guys from Comic Book Men, and just a great bunch of people, and the fan base is tremendous because Ernie is in our film. So a lot of that fan base that supports Kevin Smith films and the View Askew universe and the people that are fans of Comic Book Men and such have been very supportive of our project. And it's been phenomenal. So we think the world of independent filmmakers, and we think the world of especially New Jersey filmmakers. So Kevin Smith was great. He met my son when we went up to the Secret Stash, and I was working the event up there for their Stash Bash 2017. And he took a few minutes out to meet my son, take pictures with him, and all around great guy. Recently, he's had some health problems that have been quite public. So if you ever see this, or if anybody sees this on our behalf, the Mckeevers, all of us at 100 Acres of Hell and Matt Rats, we all think the world of Kevin Smith. So thank you so much for what you've done for Jersey Film. We're glad to see you're feeling better.
No, absolutely. He's a great guy. I've been trying to get a hold of him just to get on his radar. But what is your honest opinion about my show? Do you think I have potential, or do you think I'm a one-trick pony?
About your show?
Yes, you can be completely honest.
I don't think there's one such thing as a one-trick pony. You're an engaging interviewer. You have a great style. I like how you have the whole wrestling gimmick and the things going in the background, so you have a little bit of production quality that you're looking at. And I also think that you're a smart young man in the respect that you're reaching out to all these diverse people. Because I think a show isn't just, if you just interview people about wrestling, or you just interview people that are in movies, or you just get sports stars, you're only going to have those small fan bases. And by interviewing people in all walks of life, I think you become the engaging person in that exchange. And I think that becomes very interesting. So I think you're doing a great job.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask some more hard-hitting questions, and then I'm going to pass the show over to you guys.
All right, great. We're looking forward to it.
All right, I just want... All right.
Very.
Arlene Schofield.
My name is Shireen Snow.
My name is Carla A. Miles.
Diana Camuto.
This is Christine Dunford.
I'm me, Ida.
Caroline Macy. This is Walker Fannin.
Maria Camille Dixon.
I'm a Dates Woodham.
My name is Linda Presson, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Me, Mark Medley.
Hi everybody, this is Mark Neely.
Barry Papick.
This is Peter Bruno.
My name is Kyle Collier.
This is Julio Santiago, better known as Dynamite.
I'm Richard Epcar.
Orange Chow.
This is Kerrigan Mahan.
This is Goldar.
And we both support
Keith Andrew.
My name is Ron Wasserman, and I am supporting Keith Andrew and what he is doing, and you better do the same, or I'm going to come kick your ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to... I almost said 300. Welcome back to 473. That's right, 473. Here's two new friends of mine, Mike and Ed. Just want to say thank you for sticking with us. Now we're at the 23-minute mark. I'm going to ask you guys a couple more hard-hitting questions, and then I'm going to pass the show over to you. With that being said, Mike, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
And the first question I was going to ask you, I noticed that you are a wrestler. So the first question I was going to ask you is, who are some of your favorite wrestlers, and who do you want to work with?
My favorite wrestler is John Cena.
Super Cena. No, without a doubt, he is the modern day Hulk Hogan. And he is a really nice guy, too. He does a lot of charities and everything.
Yeah, I met him in Atlantic City once. Actually, a couple times. I did security for many years. So I did security for WWE a bunch of times. And I got to tell you, tremendous guy, handshaking, talk to you backstage. Really nice guy. So I'm hoping one day I'll get the chance to introduce Michael to him. We'll see what we can do.
Hey, have you guys... Actually, that's an interesting question that just came up on the fly. I don't do things scripted, because when I do things scripted, it'd be like, Okay, today we're gonna talk about this, and I did not so boring and everything. I like, spontaneous. I like to have fun, make it real. So, have you guys ever gone to New Jersey Comic Con? I know there's East Coast Comic Con, and I think there's another Atlantic Comic Con. Have you guys ever gone?
I've been to a couple of the local Comic Cons, a lot of the horror conventions. A few of the Comic Cons. I went to the Comic Con that's put on by the nice folks, Tom's River, Jersey Shore Comic Con. Dan Baer and his wife, very nice people. They put on a great Comic Con. They always had the New Jersey Ghost Hunters out there. They were very nice to have members of 100 Acres of Hell as guests at one of their shows once. I've been to the New York Comic Con a couple years back. It's much, much more popular now, a lot harder to get a ticket to. And I've been to few other Comic Cons in North Jersey, but I don't remember the names. Where exactly is the New Jersey Comic Con?
I can send you it on Facebook. I know there's the East Coast one that's coming up. I think Burt Ward's going to be there.
Oh, Robin from Batman, the original Batman and Robin in the 60s, nice.
And there's another one. It's in Atlantic City, but I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I will definitely look into it.
Is the Garden State Comic Con, because I've seen a lot of promotion for that recently. A few of my friends are going to be there. Father Evil is one of the characters big in the horror community in the state of New Jersey. I noticed that he's been promoting that he's going to be there. I believe my friends, the creepy psychotic clowns, Grinning Carnage, are going to be there. And a lot of other people. I noticed there's going to be some great comic artists, inkers, colorists, people that are involved. I'm a big comic book fan, but I have to say I'm not very knowledgeable on the subject. So I apologize if I'm saying anything incorrectly. My forte are horror and film, but I still love comic books. I mean, what's better than the story of the hero coming across to defeat tyranny and evil? I mean, I think it's an age-old concept, and I think we wouldn't have the modern film today if it wasn't for a lot of the influence of comic books to filmmakers as they grew up.
No, I agree with you. And if it wasn't for, all those Jewish writers, we wouldn't have Marvel. And Batman, for that matter.
Or DC. I mean, you look at the greatest comic book character, my personal favorite ever, is Superman. And I believe he was created by two Jewish writers. I mean, the world's mightiest... Actually, he's not the world's mightiest man. I think he's the universe's mightiest man. And, so I think there's been a great contribution from all kinds of social groups, especially in the comic book realm. A huge fan of the characters. I just wish I knew more about comic book knowledge in general. I hang out with a lot of guys that are huge comic book fans. Sometimes they're talking, they know about the alternate universes and different plot elements. And then I love the characters. I just don't have that encyclopedic knowledge.
No, absolutely. Now, Mike, the next question I was going to ask you is, what do you want to be when you grow up? I know you're actually a professional wrestler in your free time. Is that what you wanted to focus on, or do you want a plan B?
I want to be a professional NFL player. Well.
No, absolutely. You have a dream, you have to hold on to it, and it's like playing football. You got the ball, keep running forward. It doesn't matter what people throw in your way, you got to go right through them.
It's true. And he is one heck of a football player, too. I got to tell you, he's made the All-Star team down here in South Jersey. He got to play with all the best players all over South Jersey out on the field, and really did an outstanding job with that. He's done an outstanding job with the wrestling. He makes it very easy to write parts for him in my films because he does have natural athleticism. And not to be the guy who's tooting his son's horn too much, but I just love the kid, so that's what I do.
Well, with that being said, what were some of your favorite parts that you and Mike had ever worked together on?
Our favorite thing was, as far as we've done these little short videos that we've done for his Mad Mike and some video gaming stuff. The only feature stuff he did a little cameo in my movie Ticket to Hell when he was very young, and then he did a little cameo in 100 Acres of Hell, and he was very instrumental in helping me write Mat Rats, which is our next film, because I can write stories and I have ideas, and I like to think I'm a very creative person. But I don't know what the average 10-year-old kid's thinking. Yeah. And I have a cast of 10 or 12 10-year-old kids that are supporting characters in this film. And it's very easy when you have a 10-year-old that you can go to and say, hey, what's going on with kids these days? I don't know what a dab is. I don't know. Say these kids have this whole lingo. It's very different from when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was, I don't know, but it's different. It's different now. We had those snap bracelets and things like that. These kids, they dab, they floss, they what's that other one you do?
Hit the quan.
They hit the quan. I don't know what this is. I don't know. I'm old. I'm 43 years old. I know nothing about this. So you need a 10-year. You need that perspective to really help you. If you're gonna understand kid characters, you have to immerse yourself in that world. And he's been instrumental in that because I've actually rewritten dialogue because he's looked at me and been like, no, a kid's not going to say that because it sounds like something a 43-year-old man's saying and not a 10-year-old kid. So I'm really looking forward to making Mat Rats and also absorbing all the energy and information from all these other actors and kids that are around that are going to teach me so much more and really make it a tight, truthful, gritty project. It'd still be funny, but real. Something that people are really going to get because they're going to understand it. Because it's going to be them, their kids, their neighbors, and they're going to understand it.
No, absolutely. And I'm only 30 years old, and I look at certain things, I'm kind of like, oh, excuse my language, as I go, what the hell am I looking at? Because I have no idea. I don't know if you're into Friday Night at Freddy's or Freddy's Friday Nights or whatever it is.
Tell us all about it.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, what's it about?
It's about you have to survive these nights at a pizzeria without getting killed.
And what's going to kill you?
Monsters.
What kind of monsters?
Robotic ones.
There's a bear. There's a dude with a bear. Is it a dude with a bear mask or is it a bear that's killing people? Kids making pizza and there's a bear popping out of the back room. When he was younger, how old were you? You played that 5 years old?
6.
6. I made the mistake of letting him play it, and one day he comes running upstairs screaming. I thought it was this cute little bear game he was playing, and meanwhile there's a wild bear running loose with a machete killing people in a pizzeria. What was I thinking? I don't know. But you're here.
So it's a kid. Let me get this straight. It's a kids game, but it also appeals to people our age because it has a horror theme. So it's a horror kids game.
I think it's actually supposed to appeal to adults, or I think that's the way they market it. But because it's so bright and colorful and it's got this shit, and I didn't know, my son's like, I want to play this teddy bear game. There's this bear, and I think he's wearing a top hat or something?
Oh, yeah, he's wearing a black
hat.
Yeah,
he's wearing a top hat. I'm like, oh, that's no problem. He's like a puppeteer thing, no problem. And I was wrong. But since then, he's graduated.
Yeah.
If you go online, you play video games, you can play Mad Mike. There's a good chance he's beating you at Madden 16, 17, 18. I'm sure he's killed you many times in Friday the 13th as Jason, as a camp counselor. Matter of fact, they call them squeakers. Oh, yeah. Little kids that are on there that beat up adults and attack other camp counselors and everything else on this video game platform. They call them squeakers. And Michael had his own little ring of squeakers that would go into games and just cause havoc. So I had to hear a lot of nasty messages, and I'll keep on headphones about that. But it's all good fun. It's all good fun.
No, absolutely. Now the next question I was going to ask you is a little of a personal one: is how much time do you spend time with your grandparents, and do you think trying to find the words for it? Do you think that spending time with your family comes first over your acting career? And because I want to use you for a perfect example, but there's a lot of people today who want to focus just cleanly on their acting career. Do you think you're good enough at balancing out? Say, okay, one day you're going to spend time with your family, spend time with your grandparents, and another day you're going to focus on something else. What is your mindset? And that being said, what is your mindset?
Well, I think family always comes first.
You can expand on that. Well, regretfully, my parents both passed away very young.
Yeah.
So Michael didn't really have the fortune of meeting my father, and my mother died when he was very young. But he does have 2 grandparents on my wife's side that he sees. They live out of town, but he does get to spend holidays and birthdays with them, which is very nice. But you got to explain it. I mean, family's first. I mean, before acting, before everything, I think there's a couple things that come before acting and this chase of celebrity and everything else. And I think you can't lose sight of those. I hate when I see these stories about, like, there was this movie that came out with Corey Feldman not too long ago. That was a biopic of him and Corey Haim's life. And it seems to me, and I don't know the people, so I don't want to judge anyone, but they were so chasing fame and fortune that they let the fact slip away that they're still raising young children. And I don't know that to be accurate. I'm just going by the depiction that I saw in the film. But it opens the kids up to experiences that I don't think a kid should experience. So by keeping your children close with you and your family close, I think you keep them a degree safer than if you weren't. There's going to come the time when they're going to experience their own freedom and grow on their own, but I don't think it needs to happen when they're 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. I think they have to be matured before they can experience those things. So we keep in mind when he acts, when he does his sports, he does everything else, that we're always an arm's reach away. And for me, that works. Does it work for you?
Yep.
No, I feel the same exact way. You know, I didn't mean to put you guys on spot. I do apologize. I just think off the fly.
Oh, thank you. This is great. Thank you.
And the one thing I do say is I kind of am reflected myself onto Michael because I have regrets. When I was his age, I was born in 88, so you're, you said 40, so like a 10-year difference between us.
I'm 43, so I'm about 13, 14 years older than you are.
Right,
you are a young man. I am at the cusp of old age, but you are a young man.
Well, still in the same ballpark. But when I was Michael's age, I had the mindset, go home, play Super Nintendo, play with my wrestling toys. I'm laser focused on this. And it's like, your grandparents are here. That's fine. They're not going. Yes, stupid me, right? It's fine. They're not going anywhere. They have time. And my biggest regret is because I'm the youngest out of 4 brothers and 1 sister, is that I don't really have a good relationship with most of my family members because I was always hyper and had ADD and everything. But what I'm trying to say is when you have an opportunity at your fingertips, you should just stand back and think, should I play with the video games like this, or I use the phone now, or spend time with my grandparents? And I hope you make the right decision, saying family comes first. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, I think you have to balance everything. I think for your own mental sanity, you have to have your own alone time, space time, where you can just kind of reflect, whether it be reading a book. Some people like to watch TV for a little bit. And I think you need that downtime to kind of just drop out mentally, kind of relax a little bit. But then you definitely need that interaction time. I think, and once again, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I do think that people have lost the ability to communicate with others in person. And I don't necessarily think it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just think it's definitely an art that's been lost. I've noticed for many years I was an employer and I employed people, and to a certain degree still do while we're producing these films. And I noticed the hardest thing is that initial interaction with people. People, I think, don't any longer know how to shake a hand and really have a conversation and look at somebody in the eye and really have an honest dialogue and conversation. And I just think it's a lost art, and I'm really hoping that changes. I'm hoping that technology didn't cause that. And I could be wrong. But I think in your circumstance, I think you're young. When you're young, you didn't think anything of it. I was the same way. I had family of what I wouldn't do to have my grandfather back, to have a discussion with him. He used to tell me he was in World War II, and he used to tell me things about, he was over there. He saw the concentration. He saw these atrocities. And what I wouldn't give to sit down with him and have more conversations about that, and not because I want to hear the ghoulish aspects or this negativity, but I want to understand. He was a young man. He was 18, 19, 20 years old, and he saw these deplorable acts. And I really do think that you can grow from that if you can better understand that experience. And as a 9, 10, 12-year-old kid, I wasn't able to understand that. But I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you a story about my grandfather. My grandfather was not a big guy, 5'10", 5'11". He was well into his 50s. This is the early 80s. I'm from Jersey City, up in Jersey City. And a couple guys were hassling a local girl at a Dunkin' Donuts. My grandfather doesn't say a word. He steps out of his 1978 78 Granada, Ford Granada he has. He steps out, reaches behind his seat. Michael, don't listen to this, because I'm just saying it's a different world now.
Yeah.
He walks out and he takes like a leg pipe for like a chair leg, and he goes out. And he essentially beats these two guys down. Not that I'm trying to say a great thing about violence. That's not the case. But the way he protected the two people from young girl from his neighborhood, and never talked about it, never looked for any kind of adulation, so humble. He just calmly gets back in the car like it never happened, because it was a different generation, different kind of people, and just, those are the little things I think stay with you in your life. And I would love to have more conversations with him about his time spent in the military as a young man fighting over in Europe, against the Nazis. I mean, I think now people look at Nazis, they only see them in video games. No, Nazis were real. There was blood running through their veins. They were evil people trying to exterminate entire countries, entire races of people. They were evil. They weren't just relegated to being like little movie components. This is real. This was a real terror. And I think people don't really see those things these days. I think there's still a lot of evil out there. Don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of people are desensitized,
Perfect example is 9/11.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
9/11 was our Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, it's the Pearl Harbor of our lifetime, no doubt about it. It's insane. I mean, I bet you know exactly where you were on 9/11. I know exactly where I was.
Where were you?
Well, I was actually working detail at the venue I ran security at. And at the time, the venue I ran security, I was running security for the Miss America pageant. I ran security at that venue for 15 years. So actually, when 9/11 occurred, we were going about our normal routine. We had the contestants in the building, and we were going about our normal day. They were doing their rehearsals. They were doing their interviews. They were preparing for everything that they do leading up to the actual pageant. And all of a sudden, people start running, and there were people on phones, and we had people that were members of the police department and federal law enforcement. And of course, they were getting the inside scoop immediately, so we knew what was occurring pretty much right away. And it was still fuzzy, but we were hearing the details pretty quickly. And we had to do a lot of things. We had to work to, secure the talent and get those individuals out of the venue and out of harm's way. So I definitely know where I was at that day. I was a young man. I was like 25 years old, 26 years old. And we had a responsibility. And that I'll always remember that day because there was so much going on. And there was so much that we didn't know, I guess is the best way to say it, and always anticipating the worst. Where were you at on 9/11?
I think I was either Michael's age. I think I was either 9 or 10, and I was in middle school.
Wow. I bet they turned the TVs on, the whole deal, watched the whole thing?
Middle school, they didn't have the TVs, so they just basically told us to stay off the internet. It was pretty much, we found out later on and everything. But, knock on wood, everyone in my family came back in one piece. And I hope the same thing for you. And with that being said, going to a happier subject, wrapping up the show, I do have 2 questions for Michael. One, would you say you're a popular kid in school, number 1? And do you think sometimes your acting career interferes with your schoolwork? Like, say you're trying to focus on the test, and then the kid's like, hey buddy, can I get your autograph? It's like, hey, I'm trying to study for a test here. Is it like one of those, or how do you feel about it?
I mean, like, I don't want to brag or anything, but I am. But I don't want to be popular now. I want to be popular in high school. Because that's the...
Well, I think the other question is, too, he kind of keeps it quiet about the acting because we're not really acting to the degree where he's a household name or anything like that. It's these small independent films. So it's kind of cool to say you're an actor, but nobody's really seen him in anything. But when they hear it, I think the kids are definitely impressed, or they think it's weird. It could go one way or the other. I mean, that's just my own opinion. I do notice that when kids do find out on his football team and stuff, they do treat him a little differently.
Well, have you ever had any friends that, or, fake friends to say, yeah, we're friends, and they just want to hang out at your house because you have like an arcade, you have a giant pool. Have you met fake people?
No.
Yeah, give it time. You live and learn, right? Well, with that being said, I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air.
Okay.
And the first thing I'm going to ask you is, are you on social media? Are you guys on LinkedIn, Twitter, Stage 42.
Absolutely. You can find me pretty much everywhere. Ed Mckeever on Facebook. But you can really find me on everything at Armageddon Ed. Armageddon Ed was a character I played in a movie like 10 years ago, and it just kind of stuck. So Armageddon Ed on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm all over the place. And my son also has a moniker. Goes by Mad Mike Mckeever. So if you go to Mad Mike Mckeever on Twitter or Instagram, he's a little young for Facebook yet, but he's on Twitter and Instagram. Just be aware I monitor those accounts. I think every parent should monitor a kid's accounts.
No question about that.
Yeah, but he's very good at posting pictures and making little live videos. And he's also on IMDb, the Internet Movie Database. So people can contact him if he had any acting roles or commercial work. He's done some commercial stuff too, some print stuff. So, yeah, I mean, we're easy to find. We're easy to find. And definitely look out for our film. I guess the main thing is we want to make a really cool kids comedy, but that appeals to adults. So think like a John Hughes film. A kid could watch it and enjoy the antics of it, but the parents will get all the jokes. And that's what Matt Ratz is. A down on his luck pro wrestling manager, drives an ice cream truck by day, and starts a kids wrestling team so he can meet the girl of his dreams. It's really a cool concept. It's going to be filmed in Atlantic City. We're going to use real amateur wrestlers and real pro wrestlers. Real pro wrestlers are going to be coaching the amateur wrestler kids. And we're hoping for a grand scope. And I got some really cool announcements soon. We have great people, some people that are on network television shows that are going to be involved in the project. And I just can't announce it yet, but as soon as we can. So everybody check out Matt Ratz Movie on Facebook and Twitter. Please like it, share it, tell everybody, because we're just independent filmmakers. We want to make the next Stranger Things, the next Bad News Bears. We want to do all this creative stuff, but we need your support because we don't have big studio money.
No, absolutely. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I know somebody who is blowing up on Twitter, though. Puppy Monkey Baby.
My son's a huge fan of Puppy Monkey Baby. What you're looking at here is the Nighted Entertainment Studios, also known as my office. And as you can see, we have lots of crazy tchotchkes and keepsakes around here. We're big fans of all the Slim Jim stuff. We love Puppy Monkey Baby. Go ahead, Puppy Monkey Baby. Puppy Monkey Baby. Puppy Monkey Baby. How could you not love Puppy Monkey Baby?
I never heard of it. That's really funny.
Well, Puppy Monkey Baby, if we can get him to shut up. All right, so there's Mountain Dew, but I can't believe we're doing a commercial for these guys. But there's also they had another Kickstarter or Kick something.
Yeah.
Kick something. I don't know, but it was another product of theirs, and they debuted it during the Super Bowl. And everybody thought this guy right here, Puppy Monkey Baby, was going to be the next big thing. Look, he's part baby, part puppy, part monkey. He's got a monkey tail and everything. And he had a commercial, and he's like, Puppy Monkey Baby. And everybody was like talking about it for one day, and then nobody loved Puppy Monkey. You know how many dollars I had to spend in the arcade at Seaside to win that thing on the claw, the rigged claw game that doesn't actually grab anything? But we did it, because we had to have Puppy Monkey Baby. Sorry.
Hey, give it time. It'll probably work out.
We're passionate. We're passionate about our Puppy Monkey Baby.
I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air, but my last question for you is when I first approached you, be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction, and what made you say yes?
We were honored the fact that you wanted to talk with us. And regretfully, I was very, very busy when you first contacted me, so that I have to apologize for. We definitely love anybody that wants to interview us or talk to us. And before I actually got a chance to watch your show, I thought your show was going to be very geared toward, like much of the other shows I've done, where it's specific to a horror audience or a film audience or a pop culture audience or a wrestling audience. And it wasn't until I had the chance to actually watch a few of your videos that I said, oh, no, it's much more eclectic than that. Keith Andrew wants to do an interview about us, not just the individual project that I worked. So we definitely appreciate that, and thank you. And I think that's more why I want to be more responsive, especially when you offered to have my son and I on. And I said, this is definitely a great opportunity for us, so people can learn the people kind of behind the scenes. And I definitely appreciate that. So I hope I answered that properly and didn't go in five different directions.
I agree. And while on the subject and wrapping up, I interviewed, I sounded like I said it in passing, I interview actors, actresses, models, CEOs, professional wrestlers, dancers, cheerleaders, And people think I just say, like we were saying, I'm only geared to one audience. I just interview people with disabilities. I'm showing you, but I am very flexible, and I can cater to everyone. You know, people your age, people my age, people Mike's age. But I'm showing you, you know, if it's something that feels right, and it says I can have fun with this, and it's a normal conversation, then I will go in for it. You know, I don't like having, you know, a handcuffed and say, okay, you're only going to talk about this for half hours straight, and people think that's boring. I like trying different ideas.
Oh, I agree, and I think it's great because you're very engaging, you're very personable. It's great to talk with people, and like I feel like we're just two guys having a talk right now in my living room. Not the fact that there's hundreds, maybe potentially thousands of people that are going to watch the show.
I hope
just
so.
Yeah, exactly. Just a couple guys chewing the fat and having a good conversation. And we definitely appreciate that. Yeah. I'm not lost on communication. I can chew your ear off for 3 or 4 hours. That's why my wife's hiding from me right now somewhere, because I'm sure she doesn't want to hear me talk. She's heard it all in the last 15 years. But anyway, I digress.
Well, with that being said, stay tuned for after show. Do have a couple questions for you guys. But wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. Now I'm looking forward to
Thank you.
Now I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
And hopefully next time, I would love, as we get into Mat Rats, I get a couple of the other wrestlers here and have a couple of maybe the guy who plays our coach and a couple of the wrestlers here to really kind of tell about experiences on set and what it's like to be an athlete / wrestler, especially from a young kid's perspective. I think that might be kind of cool to see the adult actor as opposed to these kids who are just getting into it. I think it'd be kind of cool. So if you'd love to have us, we'd love to be on again. So thank you very much.
No, absolutely.